All right. Here we go.
And I'm Marie.
Right. Hey, everyone. This is pretty terrific, and I am Chris.
No, we're
And we are late because
terrific.
of me, and I'm a stupid jerk. But we're on now.
Yes.
Hey. Oh, we are terrific. That's true. But yes, we're a little bit delayed because I got
Yes.
held up and I spaced, and then Marie
Yes.
called me
You
thinking I had
know,
died,
I actually,
and
before we
I'm not
started
dead.
this episode, I was thinking that I might take a moment to do a sort of PSA, and maybe this is a good segue into that. It's a little bit of a PSA here. Like, yes, like our podcast, vodcast, live stream, whatever this is focused on terrific things because sometimes a lot of things are not terrific. And so we try to, just sort of look on the right side sometimes and enjoy certain things. It's not the toxic optimism
Bring
thing.
some,
Yeah.
yeah. It's bringing some
Yes,
balance to the
balance to the
force,
force.
right?
Because what you might not know is that Chris and I have a Wednesday night call in which we can get all kinds of ways. But
Yeah.
my thinking that Chris is dead is because I have anxiety and I have depression and I have mental health issues that sometimes tell me lies about the world as it is. And it makes me kind of uncomfortable. And so, yeah, just a PSA that we're not always like just forcing the happy. It's because we're trying to balance things out for ourselves, especially me.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. And I also think, it's kind of counter to the internet at large because the easiest way to get eyeballs in the world is to just trash stuff. And it's
Yeah.
easy and cathartic to trash stuff all the time. And like, we're trying to do it, I think, the hard way, where we are trying to take. We're trying to do something people haven't done on the internet very much, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty proud of that. We haven't done much yet, but we're on our
We
way,
plan
man.
to it. Yeah. Wait, I got a cough. Sorry, I should find a button. Yeah. So yeah, here we go. We're gonna be terrific. You're terrific. I'm terrific. Friendship is magic.
Yeah,
Come on. Come on.
FIM,
So
man.
how is your morning or day so far,
It's
Chris?
good. I did the dairy like I always do, but then on the road,
Nice.
I had to stop at a hardware store to get some parts for things. And something I found, I think is unsung right now, pretty terrific technology-wise. You know what's come a long way in the last 20 years? Projectors, man. I
Really?
think projectors are pretty fantastic.
Where okay, questions. Why was there a projector at the hardware store?
So part of the things I was trying to fix, we have a video game playing
Oh,
system at the
yeah.
shop called Wallovision. Yeah, so
WandaVision.
we shoot a projector from the shop to the outside to play video games on a adjacent wall. And we're in the midst of upgrading to Wallovision 2.0, and the existing screens are falling apart. They are busted, and I really want to get things going because tonight I'm working the shop. Starting at 5 o'clock all night. So I was like, all right, I got to fix some things that are falling apart. And then time got away from me. But yeah, projectors are really good. They're so much cheaper than they used to be. And I don't know, like, have you messed with projectors much, Marie?
Um, when I was in school, and this is dating, aging myself, we had slide projectors.
Yeah.
And like the teacher would talk over them. So I mean, I know that I've sat near to one. And it makes a very satisfying clicking sound and they become very warm. So that is the extent of my experience with projecters.
That's
Oh,
fascinating.
do you remember the overhead projector? They have these when you were in
Yeah,
school
yeah, yeah, totally. They were cool.
with like what
Yeah,
transparencies they would call?
transparencies.
Oh,
I remember
that's
I had a geometry teacher, and he had this really special LCD transparency where he could connect it to a computer, and it would put what was on the computer on the LCD transparency on the overhead, so we could actually see what was on his old like Mac back in the day doing geometry. And that back then it was like, whoa, that's awesome.
that is like the cutting edge of science to me, like technology, because that we had like it's markers on transparencies. Anyone with a computer in my just crazy. We had a computer lab, and that's where the only computers were. Um, yeah, wow, amazing. Anyway, projectors. The extent of my knowledge of projectors is quite limited. Please elucidate me.
Oh, I'm surprised because like you've been working in tech and you have presentations all the time, but I guess you don't actually have to mess with the projectors themselves ever.
Well,
Um,
they just go on the monitor.
yeah. Uh, but yeah, I tell you now, like we actually use a projector as a TV replacement at our beach house.
Ooh, la di da.
Yes, but
That's
it's
terrific, though.
wonderful. You don't need a television if you have a setup that can provide a projector, and the projector's neat because it's huge, and like there's that whole like I got a movie in my house sort of thing. Even though we don't really have it set up properly, it's still really cool. Being able to play games on a giant thing, like that's always kind of been a dream, right? Um,
But what about the lag?
so they have a better lag than many TVs now.
No,
Yes.
this is astounding to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I bought you can buy them specifically like with good lag. But yeah, smart TVs now are sort of some of them are trash, man. Like I've got I've messed with some CDs that just have like unplayable lag, like for video games, and like they're within the last 10 years, and it's bad. But the
I just looked over with an accusing glare at my television, although I have to say it was the best rated one for video games specifically. Like I searched for a video game specific
do you
television.
feel
Anyway,
is do you feel lag on your television?
I feel immersed,
Okay.
but I mean, what am I playing lately? Civilization Revolution? It's not really huge. But
Yeah.
anyway,
So
yes,
yeah,
tell me more.
so they're cheap and they're bright and the picture's great and I mean, kind of you can have a movie, a video game wherever you want. Like you set that up, you bring a screen, or on in a pinch, you just put it on a wall, man. Like we've done it before, where it's like, hey, this the side of the garage is vaguely white. Let's put it up there, and it's
And it
at
worked?
nighttime. It totally works. Yeah.
See, where you get me is like bright and the picture's great. That is just not my experience of projectors.
Huh.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have this sort of old timey view of what projectors are, but I like the romance of it. Does it make a cool clicky clicky whir noise?
It doesn't make a cool clicky clicky whir noise anymore. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It's very little physical. Like you could add it somewhere, but no, it's very much digital, and they're so cool. Like and playing a game on it with when as long as you can reduce the lag, which I've taken great pains to do.
Oh, yes.
It's so cool, and there's so much you can do with them. And I don't know if you've ever seen going back to like Disney World and stuff. They they have these giant fireworks shows at the castle, and they've introduced projection mapping into them. So like the castle itself will transform into different things because the projections on them are so they're very effective. So
That
it'll turn into like a clockwork castle, and like gears are turning, and like spires are coming up and down, and like it's awesome.
it now that you say it, projector technology has been all around me. Like I remember malls.
Vaguely.
Okay, so some of the malls and or shopping centers in San Francisco where I used to live would have those projections onto the floor that were interactive. Do you
Yeah,
remember this? Like at the Metreon, and those were pretty cool. So yeah, projection technology has come a long way.
it
Great
has.
strides.
And
Huh.
there's really interesting stuff that I've still cool places we can take it that haven't been done yet. And there's an idea that I've had that I've wanted to prototype, but I never got around to it. Maybe one day soon.
Spill.
But
Spill. Can you tell us or is it
so this
secret?
is, I mean, it's sort of I'll say because we got
You don't
like one
have
viewer.
to. Okay,
Um,
Dave.
hey Dave, don't steal it. But this kind of idea came about when I read that Nintendo was making a theme park, right, in Universal, and they said that they wanted to have interactive elements, and I was like, well, that's really cool. Like, how would they do that? And I envisioned this system where they would have a game level projected on a wall, and there'd be physical elements in the wall, like there'd be an actual like physical question blocks and warp pipes, but
Mhm.
that basically projection mapping system would know where all those things were, so that when you would take a Mario using like a Wii remote, and he'd be running around the level, and if he jumped up and hit that question block, the physical question block would ding, like in
Oh,
real life, and you could do a lot of fun stuff with that, and I think it would be really neat to do in someone's house. Like you look at your wall, and that could be a level, and you basically put a projection map onto it, and AI has gotten really good at detecting edges and boundaries, and I think you could automatically detect edges and boundaries so that you could make a playable side-scrolling level from any wall if you wrote all this stuff. All you have to do is all the work, but the
Yeah,
idea is
the
there.
work.
Yeah.
Just that's the whatever. I mean, just for Dave's sake, let's not mention AI for the rest of this episode.
Okay.
Okay, just
Well,
it's
yeah,
coming for his gerbs.
yeah.
Yes.
This is less about like. Yeah, this is more about edge detection. Like AI can be used to tweak that, but it's less about like artificial intelligence and just more
Mhm.
about really good edge detecting algorithms, which are way better now.
Well, here's now my idea for projection technology.
Yes.
Can I wear a projector on myself and then it could just like project a happy version of my face, or like I have makeup on, or now I'm paying attention to you, and just can I just always have that
Well,
on my
it
face?
wouldn't be effective unless you like totally whited your face, I guess, like so that all your features were. Because the thing is, like your real face has contours that a projection,
Boo.
yeah, it's not gonna work, and your eyeballs, like you're never gonna
Boo.
white out the eyeballs.
Boo. Okay.
So you would like to
No.
prevent a false face to others, is what I'm hearing.
I just think it would be neat. And sometimes I'm a tiger. And then sometimes, oh, you know what? I got to stop for a second. In Second Life, can we talk about how once there was this game, maybe it still
It
exists,
still
Second
exists,
Life?
yeah.
And I used to play it. And I don't think I'm naive, but I play games in a certain kind of way. And usually my experience of Second Life was I was renting an apartment near a beach, and what I'd spend my lindens on was like wave sounds, a tea set that made like tea noises, and like wind chimes that made wind chime sounds. But you go shopping in the game. I don't know if you've ever played.
I
And you go
haven't.
shopping, and one time I bought myself a tiger costume, and I was like, this is awesome. And I was a tiger a lot. And finally, somebody was looking over my shoulder while I was playing this game, and they're like, "Marie, you're a furry?" And I did not realize what like a furry was really, or that wearing the tiger outfit, I wasn't. And so, anywho, when I just said a moment ago that maybe I'd project a tiger on my face, it was not to say that I am a furry, but I just think it'd be neat. I just think that it'd be fun. Like now I'm a dragon. Now I'm like, now it's Halloween and I can be a scary thing and a
Yeah, I mean, it's
scarier thing.
wearing a different skin, right? Like,
It's funny. It could
yeah.
be, I don't know. So just that was my long aside to I am not a furry.
Yeah, but I would
And
also say
that's terrific.
there's nothing wrong with being a furry, Marie.
No, no, no. There is nothing wrong with being a furry. There isn't. What? Mascot costumes are neat.
They are neat. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine if you had like a whole bunch of them and you could just like show up every day and be different in something? I don't know. To me, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I love the idea, like having basically putting on a new skin. I think the issue arises because projectors are beams of light, and it would hurt your eyes to have a projector shining close to your face at all times. It would stink.
Question. Do we need eyes?
You know, they're the gateway to the soul, but like, do you need a soul?
Yeah, I already sold my soul to Millhouse. So they're a gateway to nothing.
Yeah, it's just the
Yeah.
the dark pit
Yeah,
behind your face.
the abyss inside me.
Yeah.
Speaking of mental health. Anyway, the terrific stuff is stuff. I want
Yeah.
to talk about really quickly how we came to this podcast.
Okay.
Vodcast
Yeah,
live stream.
I'd love to hear it. What you
So,
got on your mind?
well, here's a thing that happened, and I don't know if you were aware of it, but in 20, was it 20? There was this pandemic.
Well, maybe it was
Yeah.
2019. Okay, it might be 2020. Yeah.
Yeah, and was it 2020? Literally, was it 2019? I don't know.
Well, so
Okay, it
the
was December
pandemic
of
occurred in
2019.
2020, but in December 2019 was when the virus was discovered.
the shutdown stuff,
Yeah.
2020.
Yes.
And I think, Chris, you and I had not really been talking much in the intervening years since our podcast. But when the pandemic came, I reached out and I was like, what up?
Yeah.
And then we started talking on a regular basis every week on a Wednesday night, roughly 90 minutes. And it's been like basically since the pandemic started.
Yeah.
And I got to say, that was really terrific.
I agree. I'm really glad that you reached out because I've been doing a really bad job of that, and it was so much better. And it gives you some social structure in your life, which is something I lacked. And now we have two instances of social structure.
Yes. It's like something I have so very few things like that are like I don't build routines typically. You seem like a person who might build routines. My husband definitely builds routines. He is like very insistent upon them,
Yeah.
but I'm not very good at them. And I'm saying that about you because you're formerly an engineer, still an engineer, gonna make this whole projection scheme. Anywho, so yeah, it's like there is a thing that happens on Wednesday nights for me, and then on Friday days, and it's like really nice to have, um, yeah, routine social commitment, and then a support system. And I just value that very much, and I think it's terrific. There it is, and that's how we became a podcast, vodcast, live stream, video, whatever you're watching or listening to now, right now, Dave.
The technical term is a video film, I believe.
Oh, video
Video
film.
films, yes.
A a moving pictograph, a talkie.
A
Um,
talkie. I
a
like
talk.
that, yeah.
Yeah, we're in the talkies.
We're in the talkies. Yeah.
Woo! I've got a face and voice for books.
That's one of the biggest cell phones I've heard in a while.
Self burn. Ooh. Those are rare. Anywho, that was my little aside.
I love it. No, yeah, I agree. And something that I would recommend to people is in these trying times of the last 2.5 years.
Indeed.
Uh,
Elon Musk now owns Twitter.
yeah, well, the fire burns brighter, you know. But just having some sort of routine social thing happening, and this is something like I've discovered. I don't necessarily do it unless it's scheduled and social. I won't. If you don't live near people and work with them and see them every day, it's really hard to keep in touch. And this is
Yeah.
something I'm struggling with other people now. It's just like I need to, make the effort and like this is the time frame. And part of me is like, social stuff is supposed to be fun and spontaneous, but like the older you get and the further you live from people, the less that can be.
And I think it's like, well, if you're like me, got a calendar at work that you like be filled with spots, fill those spots with friends.
Yeah.
I just think it's nice. It's so valuable. I really can't I don't even know the word. I can't recommend it enough to talk to friends and have something like this. A talkie. Have a talkie with someone you care about.
Yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
really good. And so the only places I've been doing that also I have a weekly like circus I guess is a study group.
Circus.
Yeah, and
Wait,
and
those words don't go together. Circus study group?
yeah, it's a circus study group where me and really mainly my friend Melissa and I, some other folks will join us when they can, but usually we're the only two who are reliable. And we just go and we're like, hey, here's a trick. How can we turn this into another trick? How can we get stronger? So we're kind of figuring things like neither of us are professional circus people, so we call it a study group because we're not necessarily. It's not a class. There's no syllabus. It's just, hey, here's an hour we set aside that we're just gonna mess around on some straps, see what happens. Yeah.
Okay, I just questions.
Yeah.
Okay, you're neither of you professional circus people. How do you maintain safety?
So part of the safety maintenance is that there's two of us there.
Hmm.
So one of the rules of like any gym is that don't ever go upside down on anything if you don't have another person there. So there's always two of us there, and in addition to that, like we have mats, and the things we're doing are not particularly dangerous. Like we're not going very high up. We're not like moving very fast. These are more about this is the straps specifically is the apparatus we're on. So it's like, it's hard and it can be painful, but it's not dangerous.
I want to know what kind of tricks, because you say the straps, and it's like I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking like of an aerialist or something like that. But like, what are you guys doing on these straps?
Well, I'd probably have to show you a video to get it across entirely, but
Video,
I can't right now.
video. Okay.
We lack the technology right now. But
Shoot.
basically, it's just these two canvas straps. They're about maybe 1.5 to 2 inches thick, and you wrap them around your wrists, and you hang from them. And you see this stuff most frequently at like a Cirque du Soleil performance. Like you might see somebody,
La-di-da.
and often in a performance, like people wrap up and then they get pulled. Like rigging will pull them up higher, and then they'll do some things in the sky. But we're not doing.
Sounds hurty.
Yeah, it does kind of hurt, but you get used to it. But it has some similarities to like the aerial silk sort of rope. It's just two separate straps on each arm, and you spin with them, and there's a world of tricks, and they all it's one of it's one of those apparatus where the more difficult something is, the less exciting it looks. So it'll be like, I worked really hard to do this, and you have to be very strong, and people will be like, eh. But then you'll do some easy thing where like your legs are in the air, and people are like, oh yay, that's great.
Yeah. Okay. Very quickly, that sounds fascinating. But this reminds me of like I saw a video of Greg Louganis doing just like a very simple dive, but it was absolutely, he just jumped up, his body rotated, and he was perfectly perpendicular to the water, and there was zero splash.
Yeah.
And it was like apparently the difficulty in doing something like that is just ridiculous.
Right.
Like it's like he was like a computer program or a drawing of what you need to do to complete this dive. And then it was like so baffling to the judges. Like some people were a little confused, like, I want to see the squirrely, spinny, whatever thing. But he did it like textbook. And it was fascinating to watch. It's just like, how is a body able to do that? So I have a newfound appreciation for the simple but technically incredibly challenging thing. Because to do that well, because there's so many ways to do it wrong, and it would be so obvious, if you did that very simple looking thing incorrectly.
Totally.
So, I want to see pics.
Yeah, I'll have to show you some videos sometime. Maybe next time I'll have some prepared that I can show our audience.
Ooh, Dave, get excited. I can also add them to the blog.
Yeah, and then everyone can say like, is that it?
Oh, come on. We just talked about how doing the hard thing is often, the simple thing is often very challenging.
Yeah,
it's true.
It's very challenging. It's just, I think there's a difference between things that are hard and things that are good in a show, And when you're thinking about like a show for people, you think about music, like something that's very technically challenging isn't necessarily what people want to listen to. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that hard?
I mean, just doing like a trill thing, not necessarily. If it's just meedly. But if it's like some people like all over the place, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm sure like Ben can do crazy stuff, your husband, but I've never learned how to do sweeps, which is what a lot of like fast metal solos and classic guitar like I don't know how to do the sweeps. I'd love to learn.
Yeah, that's not his bag.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
I mean, he does play like the guitar solo, but it's never it's never hair band, and it's never metal. It's just like a tune.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's got them itty bitty fingers. I think they're adorable. They're terrific. He's a great guy. Yeah.
It's good to like your spouse.
Oh my God. I don't know. Have we talked about this yet on podcast?
What? Oh, no, we haven't. Yeah, let's see that. You're getting front and center for that one.
What's up?
So.
Look how awesome you are. You are such a good friend. You are pretty terrific. You have a wonderful smile.
That's so cool. So yeah,
Can you
Marie
tell which one is me?
Marie has a doll made of her, thanks to work, and
Yes.
I don't know anyone else who's had a doll made of them. So
Loser.
amazing. How do you feel to be holding a doppelganger right now?
I mean, she's so soft. I don't know if it registers with me that how bizarre this is, but for context, so I work for a company um, called Reddit, and Reddit has a mascot called Snoo, and it's an alien. I don't know if we're not supposed to say that, but they look like this, the red eyes, etc. So what you're seeing now is a Marie version of the Snoo, and of physical Snoos, there exists only Snoo and Marie Snoo.
Oh wait, there's never been another one made in another variety?
Only Snoo. Only Snoo plush. And
Dude.
so this is the only like human associated Snoo.
All right, I had no idea that was the case because
Did you think other people had their own
I
Snoo?
thought other people did. Like
No.
maybe a couple of fancy people would have gotten theirs made. Why you? Is it because you're a thought leader?
Well, I do have thoughts, and sometimes I walk around and the dog is behind me. But no, I won an auction. I won a charity auction to pick the like a piece of swag that would be custom. And typically it's like a whole team will chip in to win this auction. And like a person did approach me and they're like, "Hey, do you want to like team up together so we can pick the thing?" And I'm like, "No, I don't. I want it to be my thing." And so this was like last year, and it was, I'm involved with a lot of ERGs, employee resource groups at my work that have to do with like mental health and dealing with work stress. And I just wanted to create something for those groups that was like, here's a hug, here's feel better. It's okay. And like, I'm not trying to like make people feel better, but I'm trying to bring some sort of comfort. And I thought it would be nice if there was like a huggable cloud that could play soothing music. And what happened was the person I was working with on the experience team said that she was working on a Snoo doll. So actually, there didn't even exist dolls at the time we were talking about it. So no dolls at all. And I was like, well, what if we had one that looked like me, had my glasses and my gray streak, which you can't really see right now, and then just had my voice saying nice things to you. I also wanted her to play soothing music or ocean sounds, but that was a bridge too far. So she just talks now.
I had no idea. Like I knew it was special, but like this is above and beyond. Like, does the original Snoo doll, does it have a voice box?
It does not.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
No, only Marie may speak.
Look how awesome you are.
There's a snake in my boots.
Oh my goodness! I hope we can do it again. But yes, there's so many missed opportunities.
No, I mean I think you nailed this opportunity, and I want to
Thank
know
you.
when is run number 2 going to come, because so these are only sold to Reddit employees, and they all sold out within days.
Yes, well, a week. Yeah. So, yes, they're only sold to Reddit employees, and I don't think there's going to be another run, unfortunately. It was a very limited edition
But
item.
it's the searing demands that they create more. Like they've got people at meetings, I'm sure, who like bring back Marie. Like you should start an underground
I
sort of like
just-
movement, man.
I think the doll is good. But it is pretty terrific, I will say. And she does tell you that you are pretty terrific.
That's great.
So
Have have you slept with it yet?
No, good night.
What?
No, I just no, she actually comes. I got her a stand.
Okay.
That's who I am now. I'm a person who owns a doll stand.
And you're not a furry?
I'm leaving.
Um,
No, I just wanted her to stay clean
yeah.
and not slobbered on. I also like have the dog in the bed sometimes. Well, all the time. She sleeps in the bed every night.
Just mess
And
everything
like
up.
she'd just be like, "Oh, that's for me. I'm going to chew this doll."
Yeah.
So no, she stays on her stand on my desk.
Yeah.
But yes.
I don't think it was an absurd thing to suggest that someone might sleep with a plush doll. by the
Well,
way.
it has a voice box, and it's like, owie.
Yeah, my kids sleep with all kinds of things with voice boxes. Did you grow up with like glowworms?
Oh my God, that thing was rock hard. How did
Yeah,
we sleep with that?
we did though.
Yeah, I had a glowworm. What the hell?
And
That
then
was
they
weird.
made a new generation, so my kids got one, and like it's just as hard.
Does it still look like super freaky David Lynch Eraserhead kind of baby thing?
Not quite as frightening. Yeah,
Okay.
they've dulled the edges of the glowworm.
Okay, because it was kind of a freaky thing to have.
I mean, all the dolls
Honestly.
back then were Cabbage Patch Kids, and like
Oh yeah, those were weird. I always like, okay, is this terrific? Are we talking terrific?
yes, it's terrific.
Okay, cool. Because I just want to say very quickly, Cabbage Patch Kids always struck me as the facial structure of someone with fetal alcohol syndrome. But am I wrong?
I guess
Am I
not.
wrong?
I think
Am
I
I
think
wrong?
the whole appeal of those dolls to me was the butts.
What?
So they all had stitched butts, like, and on their butt
Say
cheek
more.
they had a embroidered signature of the person who first designed them, Xavier something. Did you know that?
The Xavier part sounds familiar. I
Yeah.
did have Cabbage Patch dolls. I did not feel like the draw was the butt.
See, no, I don't think I'm alone though. Like there are other people out there who's like the draw is the butt, because I have a friend, one of my old roommates, she actually got a tattoo of that signature on her own butt.
Oh, so she's a Cabbage Patch Kid.
Yes. That's the implication.
Whoa. Interesting. What's her face like?
Not like fetal alcohol syndrome, I'll tell you that much.
Sorry, I mean no offense to people with fetal alcohol syndrome, but it just kind of reminded me of that. Even as a young girl, no, not really. And when I learned about it, I was like, huh, I wonder if that's what Cabbage Patch Kids were.
Yeah. And they were made by the company Coleco, who also
Coleco?
Yes.
Asian.
Yeah, and they were originally like a leather goods company, and then they got into some toys, and then they made the ColecoVision at some point, and then they hooked me for life with video games, you know.
Yes. Well, I have two things I want to say. ColecoVision, yes, sir. And also, did you know there was a Cabbage Patch Kids cereal and it was delicious?
No, so you've eaten it?
Uh-huh. Yes. I remember this and it was awesome. And I want to try it again. I have a fondness for this.
That's
Cereal,
awesome.
do you eat it?
No, I don't eat cereal I don't eat breakfast on the regular, but I love eating cereal. The act of eating cereal is great. But yeah, I skip breakfast almost every day. But I'm not hungry. I don't get hungry much lately.
Aw, okay. Is that okay? If that's a good thing for you?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I eat when I'm hungry, and I don't get hungry much, but I love eating. Like
Okay.
yeah. So it's not like, oh, this is a chore. Like, no. Like today on the dairy run, I do stop at Wawa, and I get myself a breakfast.
Ooh.
Today I had a croissant sandwich.
Ah. What was on your croissant sandwich?
It had eggs and cheese and sausage. Yeah.
Nice. That sounds hearty.
Yeah, I don't know if I've told you this before, but I like to pretend there's an imaginary French person in my head who despises the word croissant, especially when you pronounce it that way. Croissant, just I think that being like kryptonite for the French. So I like every time I like to really pronounce that that really nasal a noise.
Yes, I hope the head Frenchman that you've got is just writhing in agony.
It's like
right
chocolat bleu every time.
Every single time. Sandwich.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like a decent thing. I don't know. I don't know many. Well, actually, I do know quite a few Frenchmen. I don't know. I think they have like a pretty good understanding of how Americans approach food.
Good.
Yeah. So yeah.
I've never eaten in France. Like I was in France very briefly on a layover on my way to Germany once. But I should try some more French food. I hear it's the best. People say it's the best.
I mean, there's a lot of food in the world, and a lot of it is very good.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, I have a thing where I like to go to museums, and whenever I go to a country, well, this is going to be limiting because of certain countries, but whenever I have gone to a country in the past, I try a ham sandwich and a slice of pie. And that is my judgment of like, oh, and I understand that there will be nations that I might visit. Well, there will be no ham sandwich, but so far, I'm like 15 for 15 of how many nations I've been to.
And so is that your like litmus test? Like this ham sandwich, if they don't do it right, like I don't think this is the place for me.
Yeah, well, no, it's just like I just judge it.
Okay.
And so I got to tell you, France has a good ham sandwich.
Yeah, do you like a croque monsieur or a croque madame?
Personally, I go for the Jamon Beurre, which is ham and butter, bro, on an itty bitty croissant, not croissant, baguette. And they had one just even at the Louvre, right? There's like, man, this is a pretty good ham sandwich. And it's like it's so simple. Just, butter, good bread, ham.
Oh, good bread.
Good. Yeah, I wanted to talk about good bread earlier for some reason. I can't remember what we were talking about, but bread.
Yeah.
Bread.
No, that sounds really good and very surprising. Like you were at a museum, basically like concession stand, and it was delicious. Like
it was awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. Museo del Prado in Madrid. Excellent apple pie.
See, I don't think you think of apple pie being very American.
As American, yeah. But they had an apple pie. Maybe it was not called pie, or I don't know what it was called, but it was apple in pastry, and it was delicious.
Nice. Yeah, I know my wife has been itching to visit Spain at some point. She's been learning Spanish, and apparently lots of good food is there. So I'm like, yeah, I can eat things in Spain. I want to go to Spain. I'll try that.
Do you enjoy ham?
Yeah, I like ham.
Okay.
My favorite ham though is like thick cut like Easter ham. Like I love like thin slice ham is fine. But like a big chunk of salty ham, like I like the texture of biting through that. It's great.
Oh, like a ham steak.
Yeah, like a ham steak.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember any ham steak when I was in Spain, but it's more of the thin slice, like Jamon Iberrico and
and that sounds like what you're more into. And like you like a ham sandwich, which is always about a thin, like a deli slice ham.
Yeah, or thinner. I mean, Italy, excellent ham sandwiches with the prosciutto. I think the best ham sandwich I've ever had was in the Dominican Republic, though.
Wow.
Yes.
So what made this ham sandwich incredible?
I don't know what it was. They had some sort of sauce on it, and because I was like, just a ham sandwich, and then I got this. I'm not a big saucy person. Like I like that Jamon Beurre is like typically what I'm down for, but I don't know. They had it's just unique, and it was serious. It was a thicker cut of ham, first of all, so you would have been happy with that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say it was like pickle, but there was something in like an aioli, but that had a little bit of like some sort of weird vegetable in it. I don't know what it was. Terrific. Get yourself, well, maybe not Hispaniola right now, but the Dominican, excellent food, sir.
Nice.
Excellent food.
Yeah, I've never been to the Dominican Republic, but I mean that sounds, and especially like I like the idea of a mystery sauce that you weren't sure what it was, but it was so tasty.
It was awesome. It is the best.
Yeah.
Wow. That's the best ham sandwich, Dominican Republic. I mean, I'm sure like your mileage may vary by whoever you're having make you a sandwich. Like if you go to the Dominican Republic and like are visiting friends and then ask your friend to make you a sandwich, they may not be making the best sandwich in the Dominican Republic.
Right. It's not the nature of just simply being in the country doesn't imbue you with the power of ham sandwich.
Yes. Like if you went there and suddenly made a ham sandwich, you, Chris, might not be able to deliver. Yes. Yeah. But it's a terrific sandwich.
So how do you feel about like mustard on a sandwich, like a ham sandwich?
I do not care for it, sir.
I am not much of a mustard person either.
I'm coming around to it. Like I like mustard seeds for some reason.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're different.
I don't know. They are different, but like mustard itself, I don't know why. But I'm slowly getting there.
I just got around, so I had always never enjoyed relish. I was like, look at that, it's green stuff. I don't want that. And they always have it out like at hot dog places, right? Like
Mhm.
there's ketchup, mustard, relish, and I was like, it's green stuff. That's gross. I don't want it. There's a burger place, Lucky's down my favorite burger place in the world, a block away from
Ooh.
me. They sell this burger called the Pickle Monster, where it's got
Ooh.
pickles on it. Obviously, it's got fried pickles. It's got a pickled relish. It's got this pickle imbued cheese on it. It's so good. It's surprisingly excellent, right? So
That sounds like the death of me.
yeah. But the relish, I was like, oh, this is really good. Like it tastes like pickles, and people are like, well, that's just relish.
That's relish.
Relish is just pickled cucumbers chopped up, and I was like, what? So just knowing that relish is pickles blew my mind, man. Like I've been sleeping on relish my whole life, man.
Well, so I've just learned this moment that relish is pickles, and I'm like, good for you, Marie. You have successfully avoided relish.
So you hate pickles.
So I'm not a fan.
Fair enough.
I don't know what. I will say though, one time in a very complex sandwich, someone put some pickles in there, and like because of it, the balance of things, like it was nice to have something kind of crunchy and fresh
Yes.
within that sort of balance of whatever it was they were up to. But pickles, like some people just eat pickles on their own.
Yeah. And I would
And
absolutely do that.
really,
But like I understand, like it's a polarizing taste. Like it is strong and it's got a very distinct texture. I want to ask you, what do you feel about like Korean food? Because a lot of Korean food's got pickled items in it, right?
indeed. I mean, I can fuck with some kimchi, but not as much as some people.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. I mean, like Korean food in general, like Korean barbecue.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, I'm down. Yeah.
Because they even
so
pickle
there.
like the meats, right? Because
Sometimes,
the
yeah.
meats are brined or they're all marinated at very least, and it's just like it's just
Mhm.
another type of pickling.
Yeah. And pickling, isn't it supposed to be good for you?
I mean, it puts lots of salt in things, so yeah, I guess.
I know, like, well, I know that kimchi is because it's a fermented food. It's supposed to be very good for you. So I did have tried to like up my kimchi intake, but it's not native to my palate. Let's say.
Yeah, that's a good way
Yeah.
to put it.
Yes. I mean, I'm Filipino, so I never lived in the Philippines, but I ate a lot of Filipino food growing up, and from what everyone else tells me, like around Asia, like I had some Indonesian friends, and they're like, "Ooh, Filipino food's so sour," but we use a lot of vinegar.
Well, that would make it
And
sour, yeah.
yes, so I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I was like, what? It's so sour, and yeah, we do use a lot of vinegar and things, and so it's like weird because I really enjoy Filipino food quite a bit, but it is a bit sour.
I'd like to
Eat
try
some.
some. I haven't really eaten much Filipino food in my time. I need to eat
We
some.
gotta get you some.
Yeah.
I'll cook if you come over. I'll cook.
Ah, man, I didn't know that you made like native food.
Well, I mean, I can make a pretty decent chicken adobo. The thing is, like, there's some, like, okay, first of all, there are a bajillion islands. I mean, there are 137 languages spoken in the Philippines.
Yes.
It's pretty different. So there are a lot of regional takes on adobo.
Yeah.
So, right. So no one's ever going to have exactly the same kind of thing. But typically, you're going to have like some white vinegar and some soy sauce, onions, and garlic. Some people put bay leaves. Some people put an egg. We'll see. But I can cook.
Sweet. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, the one thing I know about the Philippines is that there's no standard because there's so many different islands and so many different takes on everything. Like, it's like 100 cultures smashed into one, right?
I don't know about that. I know that there are a whole bunch of languages. Yeah. But there are, because it's a nation with a history of imperialism. So we also have like the Spanish folks came and Americans came. There were also like Germans, the Chinese. And so there are a lot of different cultures, and then there are native cultures. And so, yes, it's a lot. There are a lot of things going on.
And I imagine like a lot of that's flavored by what you can get natively, like the plants that grow, the crops that grow, the animals that you can husband there,
Ooh, husbanding animals. I will say, one thing I remember clearly from when my parents were growing up is like they didn't have access to milk a lot, so they also often drank like canned milk.
Hmm.
And I just always like that. That sounds kind of neat. I wonder what milk from a can is like.
Yeah. And it makes I know a lot of islands like don't have access to anything that requires acreage, right?
Yeah.
And that's why Hawaii is famous for spam, because it's the only meat they could get for a while, because it
Oh.
was canned and preserved. So hey, spam, we'll make things with spam, right?
Yeah, well, spam's delicious. My goodness. Spam is popular in the Philippines. Canned meats are popular in the Philippines.
Yeah.
My father's family has like a rice plantation and rice mill, so there's like room for that. So it's pretty cool.
Nice.
I don't know. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah.
But but we'll have some food when you're over.
Oh, I would love that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll cook. My husband can cook Filipino food.
Very nice.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Yeah, that's something else that's really nice. Eating a food that a friend has cooked for you is pretty terrific.
It is.
Yeah, and I know you haven't been able to have that for quite some time, but it's having like a dinner party with someone like home cooked feel. It's great.
I miss that. I think it's been probably since my youth that, going over to someone's house and then like someone cooks some home cooked meal.
Wow, you never did it in like San Francisco or anything?
No, we never had people over at our house there. So now I think we have a lot more space. So like if we had people over there, I'd just be like, like Ben and I couldn't both be in the kitchen at the same time. Like it was hard to have be in the kitchen and the dog might walk through. It was very cramped.
Yeah.
Now we have space where I feel like, yeah, I'd love to have some people over because they could say all the fuck over there, like way over there, and I could be like cookie, 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 and then it'd be nice.
That would be nice.
I like that. Aw, human beings. Who knew? They're great.
Yeah, it turns out they're great. Maybe a little terrific sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But human interaction? Were you ever sold on it entirely?
I'm still not entirely sold on it, but it's definitely got its moments.
Yeah, really. Some quality moments in there are possible. Yeah. I'm coming around.
It's only taken 40 some years. You're coming around. It's good.
Don't tell them how old I am. Yes, no. Yes, 40, 45.
Nice.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, take that. I did it.
Congratulations.
Science.
Don't listen to people. I am turning 40 this year in just under 2 months, so I'll be in the 40 crew.
Yes. So yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's nice that we have parallel sort of major age things happening.
On the fives.
Good for us. Yes.
When I turn 45, you'll turn 50.
It's so weird to be old. Did you ever imagine this would happen?
No, I don't think a lot of people imagine it happening. Like you don't see it coming and then it's there and it's like, well, I'm an adult.
Where did the time go, Chris?
Yeah, it's cliche to say it, but it's true, man. Yeah.
It really is. I think about my relationship with my husband and it's like, oh, that thing where we did this. And that was like 20 years ago. And it is terrific to have had that experience and shared so much time with him, but it just seems to have flown by. It's fascinating.
Yeah, and seeing it like from a kid's point of view, because I like it sounds insane to be true, but it must be, like the way that people say that it's all about comparatives. Like to a child, an hour is a large percentage of their life, whereas to an adult, an hour is like, that's like nothing. And the older you get, the smaller time feels because you have lived so much. And it's hard for me to really believe that the brain interprets that on like a one-to-one basis, but like the way it feels is that it does, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's so fascinating. And yes, youth is wasted on the young. 1000%.
Yeah.
But there's so many. Okay, maybe this is just my lies talking to me, but I kind of feel like I've gotten better at things as I've gotten older, or at least sort of better at recognizing certain patterns in such a way that, my mind can make sense of them. I think I've gotten better at video games, not for like fast twitch, but like understanding like complex puzzles, and maybe it's just practice and experience, but I just feel like, oh, if I had had this skill level when I was younger, I could have been incredible at video games. But
But you are very good. Like, I think it's really exciting to get better and better as you age. Like, there's a lot of things you just get more experience, and like you said, it's just experience and practice. No, experience and practice are terrific, man. Like, that's great.
I guess so. It is great. But it's just, I keep thinking like, oh man, if only I had known this when I was young and making so many mistakes.
But the thing is, like, what would you do? Like, say you were suddenly granted youth, right? Someone's like, hey, I can snap my fingers and you're 20. Your body is 20 again. And,
Woo!
like, what would that give you that you couldn't already do, like, right now? Like, it's hard to imagine doing things different. And at that point, I would be terrified of, like, knowing so much, like, oh, man, I know how pivotal all the decisions I make will be. So I'd be more scared to make decisions than, like, back then.
I'm taking your hypothetical seriously, and I'm going to say, can I have my life circumstances now, but the physical body of my 20-year-old self?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That would be excellent, because then I would throw my phone in a volcano
Yeah.
and save my spine from a bone spur. There are so many things like, oh, and you know what? Like, they're permanent.
Yeah.
Injuries, the grievous harm, permanent. That bone spur, it's not going to go away.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I had my 20-year-old body, I'd throw my phone in a volcano, never look down again. I'd eat better.
Man, I would fly you to that volcano, and I would, like, record it from 7 angles for posterity.
I would just, I'd throw every phone. I just like take phones for people on the plane. I would, grab them off people in the streets.
Well, you know,
like,
Marie,
I'm saving your life.
Well, the bone spur is there, and it's not going away, but we could still throw phones into a volcano. Just so you know.
Okay, let's do this. Well, this is our crusade, Chris. We're sparing other people this sort of pain, this agony.
Oh,
so,
man,
yeah.
I just want to see them go into the volcano. Oh, yeah.
That's probably bad for the environment. But...
No, the volcano don't care. It's liquid stone. It does not care about a little bit of silicon.
Yeah, okay. Lithium batteries, that's fine. Whatever.
Yeah, let me tell you, any reaction going on in that volcano is 1,000 times more potent than whatever that lithium battery is going to do.
I'm excited for our volcano adventure. How close? Were we going to helicopter? Are we going to walk? Or?
Oh, like, I'm thinking the easiest volcano for us to get to is probably like Hawaii, right?
I've never been to Hawaii, so this would be so fun.
Yeah, that would be fun.
This is gonna be great.
It's just like a 6-hour flight from you and a 12-hour flight from me, but like this.
Oof. Yeah. Okay, well, it's worth it for all the good we'll be doing for the world.
Yes.
Maybe, okay, everyone listening. So Dave, send us their phones, and we will do you a huge favor.
At some point in the future, unspecified.
Unspecified time, we were going to throw phones in the volcano.
Yeah.
We're saving you from yourselves. Yeah, what an adventure for us.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
Our life's work, our culmination of our life's work is that.
Well, I think that's as good as a note to end it on as any I can think of.
Yeah, I mean, I just know what I'm going to do with my life now, so.
It's good to have purpose.
Yes, I'm so excited for us.
All
Good job, Chris.
Good job, Marie. And I will see you next week. Next week on time.
Woo!
Thanks for watching, you.
Yay, that was a fun one.